The house stood silent, filled with the ghosts of unpacked boxes. Each room seemed to whisper stories of the past, tales of lives once lived within these walls. The air was thick with the scent of old wood and forgotten memories, a palpable sense of history lingering in every corner. Sunlight, fragmented by dusty windows, painted streaks across the hardwood floor. The beams of light seemed to dance with the dust particles, creating an almost magical atmosphere. It was as if the house itself was trying to communicate, to share its secrets through these fleeting moments of beauty. I wandered through the echoing rooms, each step a hollow thud in the quiet. The sound of my footsteps reverberated off the walls, amplifying the emptiness that surrounded me. Every creak of the floorboards felt like a reminder of the solitude, a stark contrast to the bustling life I had left behind. It was then I saw it, tucked away in a corner of the attic. A mirror, tall and ornate, its aged silver frame dulled with time. The mirror seemed out of place, a relic from a bygone era. Its presence was almost haunting, as if it had witnessed countless stories and held on to each one. I ran my fingers across its surface, the glass cool and faintly uneven. The dust clung to my fingertips, a tangible connection to the past. As I wiped away the grime, the mirror began to reveal its secrets, slowly unveiling the reflection hidden beneath the layers of time. For the first time, I saw my reflection in the old mirror, a stranger staring back from its hazy depths. The face that looked back at me was both familiar and foreign, a blend of who I was and who I had become. In that moment, I realized that this house, with all its history and mystery, was not just a new home, but a new reflection of myself. It was a place where I could rediscover who I was, and perhaps, who I was meant to be. Autumn had arrived in a blaze of crimson and gold, the air crisp with the scent of decaying leaves. The forest was a tapestry of vibrant hues, each leaf a brushstroke in nature's grand masterpiece. As I walked through the woods, the crunch of leaves underfoot was a reminder of the cycle of life, death, and rebirth. The trees, now shedding their summer attire, stood tall and proud, their branches reaching out like skeletal fingers against the azure sky. The sun, low in the sky, cast long shadows across the lawn. Each shadow seemed to stretch endlessly, as if trying to grasp the last remnants of daylight. The golden hour bathed everything in a warm, ethereal glow, making even the most mundane objects appear magical. The interplay of light and shadow created a dance of contrasts, a fleeting moment of beauty before the inevitable descent into night. Inside, the house creaked with each gust of wind, a symphony of whispers and groans. The old wooden beams, seasoned by time, seemed to have a life of their own, communicating in a language only they understood. The windows rattled, as if protesting the intrusion of the cold autumn air. It was a house with a history, each creak and groan a testament to the lives that had once filled its rooms with laughter, sorrow, and everything in between. I found myself drawn back to the attic, to the silent presence of the old mirror. The attic was a place of forgotten memories, where time seemed to stand still. Dust motes danced in the slivers of light that pierced the darkness, adding to the sense of otherworldliness. The mirror, with its ornate frame and tarnished glass, stood as a sentinel of the past, reflecting not just my image, but the echoes of those who had come before me. Its glass seemed to hold the fading light, a faint luminescence emanating from its depths. It was as if the mirror had captured the essence of countless sunsets, storing them within its reflective surface. The glow was both comforting and eerie, a reminder of the passage of time and the transient nature of existence. Staring into the mirror, I felt a connection to the past, a bridge between the present and the memories that lingered in the shadows. The silence in the attic was different now, heavier, as if the air itself were holding its breath. It was a silence filled with anticipation, as though the attic was waiting for something to happen, for a story to unfold. The weight of the years hung in the air, palpable and almost suffocating. It was a place where the past and present coexisted, where the whispers of history could be heard if one listened closely enough. In that moment, I felt a profound sense of connection to the house, to its stories, and to the autumn that enveloped it in a golden embrace. Days melted into weeks, and the house began to feel like home. Yet the mirror remained an enigma, its past shrouded in mystery. Where had it come from? Who had gazed back at their reflection in its depths? The ornate carvings on its frame hinted at a history long forgotten, a story whispered in the rustling leaves outside my window. The first sign came subtly, a whisper at the edge of hearing. It was so faint that I almost convinced myself it was nothing more than my imagination playing tricks on me. But the whisper persisted, growing slightly louder each night, as if trying to communicate something just beyond my understanding. I dismissed it as the wind, but a shiver snaked down my spine. The nights grew colder, and the wind seemed to carry with it a sense of foreboding. Each gust felt like a cold breath against my skin, making me pull my blanket tighter around me, yet the chill remained. The cat, usually a fearless explorer, refused to enter the attic, hissing at the unseen. Her behavior was unusual, and it added to my growing unease. She would sit at the bottom of the attic stairs, her eyes wide and her fur standing on end, as if she could see something I couldn't. The hallway leading to the attic grew colder, a constant, unwelcome draft. The flickering lights cast eerie shadows that danced on the walls, creating shapes that seemed to move and shift. Each step I took down that hallway felt heavier, as if an invisible force was trying to hold me back. The hairs on the back of my neck prickled with unease. It was a sensation I couldn't shake off, no matter how hard I tried. It felt as though unseen eyes were watching me, following my every move. The feeling was so intense that I found myself constantly looking over my shoulder, expecting to see someone, or something, standing there. I tried to ignore it, but the feeling persisted, a growing sense of dread that clung to me like cobwebs. Every corner of the house seemed to hold a secret, every shadow a hidden threat. The once familiar and comforting home had transformed into a place of fear and uncertainty. I knew I had to confront whatever was causing this unease, but the thought of facing it filled me with terror. The shadows had come alive, and they were not going to let me go easily. Section 5. Whispers grow louder, reflections distort. The whispers returned, more insistent now, slithering through the silence of the house. Sleep offered no escape, haunted by unsettling dreams of shadowy figures and unseen eyes. My reflection in the mirror seemed off. A flicker at the edge of my vision, a fleeting distortion of my features. The once familiar face now seemed alien, mocking. Paralyzed by growing terror, I stared into the mirror's depths, my breath catching in my throat. There, in the hazy reflection, a face materialized. Pale, gaunt, with eyes that burned with a cold, malevolent light. It wasn't a trick of the light, not a figment of my imagination. It was real. With a deafening shatter of glass, the figure broke free from its mirrored prison. It lunged, a whirlwind of icy air and ethereal limbs. I screamed, a primal sound torn from my throat as it reached for me, its touch a promise of unimaginable cold. Adrenaline surged through me, a primal instinct for survival kicking in. I stumbled back, scrambling away from the horrifying apparition. I couldn't fight it, couldn't reason with it. My only option was to escape its grasp. I slammed the attic door shut, the sound echoing through the house. I had to get rid of it, contain it somehow. The house is quiet now, eerily so, but the silence is a lie. It hums with a hidden energy, a constant tension that makes my skin crawl. The whispers remain, fainter now, but ever present. A constant reminder of the terror that lurks just beyond my perception. The mirror is gone, hidden away where I pray it can do no more harm. But some things, once seen, can never be unseen. Some fears, once awakened, never truly sleep.